If you guys go back to an article I wrote in 2013, I start off by saying that I don't know if I can't read or follow a pattern or that I won't read or follow a pattern. I couldn't tell the difference, whether it was that I couldn't or I wouldn't. I couldn't tell you. And I'll tell you today, I couldn't. Hey guys, it's Denise from loom.com, and in this video I want to talk about knitting with disorders, with illness and sadness and anger. I'm not a medical professional. I have no training in psychology or anything. What I do have is personal experience. I want to be someone that tells you that you can knit, and that knitting can be a tool, that knitting can be like medicine, not like snake oil. It's not the cure to your depression or whatever is in your life at the moment, whatever situation you're facing. It's something that you can use to soothe and to calm and to redirect the mind. How do you do this? How do you accomplish this? What are your best tools when you're in a slump, when you're having a hard time, when you feel overwhelmed and stressed and whatever? The first thing I would tell you to do is to find a place, find a corner, find a room, find a park, your car, find a place where you feel safe, where you are comfortable, and then go to your mind and figure out, who do I want to do this for? Who do I want to make something for? And I would tell you that if you are a new knitter, then your best option is you. Make something for yourself. Why? Because the pressure is off. If your hat is lopsided, it's okay. If your shawl is short, that's all right. If your feet stick out of your blanket, it's okay, right? The pressure is off. If you've done knitting before, then knit for someone else. Redirect your thoughts. Take them outside of yourself. Knit for a charity, knit for your granddaughter. Knit and imagine who is going to receive this beautiful item you're going to make. The next checklist, the next item on the checklist is the project. So you're going to choose a project. And I say keep it simple and keep it small. There are times when overwhelming yourself is not the answer. So don't go and look for the most elaborate, the most beautiful, because you want to give someone an heirloom object. Don't make that your goal. Make it your goal to finish an item that you're either going to give to yourself or someone else. Make yourself a hat or make a toy. These are two items that are simple and you're going to finish them soon. Your next block is to pick your tools. In my particular case, I prefer a loom. I tried and I tried and I tried. Personally, I have an attention disorder, and I have tried to knit with crochet hook, with knitting needles, and I couldn't do it. And it was very discouraging and it was very frustrating, and I had given up on it. And thank goodness that I did bump into someone at a store, a representative, and they showed me that I could knit, and I did. So in my case, I use a loom, I use stitch markers, and for some people it's like, oh wow, I can't believe you put stitch markers on your stuff. You've been knitting for years and years and years and years. Well, forever. If I'm knitting 50 years from now, I'm going to need stitch markers because I understand me. I know what I need, and I need them. I need them if I'm going to do a rib stitch or any form of change. I need to know where I left off and where I'm heading. If knitting for you is difficult because you have issues with, say, your hands and stuff, you have arthritis, carpal tunnel, whatever one of those, grips on your hooks are a good idea, or choose thicker hooks. I use one from KB. It's a thicker hook for my looms, and that's the one I use. And if I can't use that, then I have added grips to my Nifty Knitter hooks. Another thing that doesn't seem like a tool, but it really is to go out in the sunlight and breathe some fresh air, get some sunlight, sit in a nice place, and if necessary, put the item down and come back a little later. Sunshine seems to be very helpful for me. Being in the dark all the time, which is my tendency, I want to be in dark rooms and want to close windows and stuff. I have to force myself out into the sun, and once I'm there, there's something that overcomes me, and I'm extremely happy that I did. But I leave kicking and screaming out into the sunlight. The last item is that you need to feed your soul. And I'm not trying to be dramatic and spiritual or anything of that sort. I just want you to know that one important element in this is to celebrate you and who you are and the way you are. You have to come to terms with the fact that you are who you are, and you are that way for a good reason. It took me a bit to understand that I have an attention disorder, and that this helps me relate to others. It helps me empathize. It helps me be sympathetic. It helps me to understand, how do I need to explain something to others? If I didn't have this, then I would be impatient. Then I would want to get things done quickly. That I would feel that, why is it that you still can't get a basic hat done, right? Well, it can take you a year to figure out how to do a hat, and that's okay. It's gonna take whatever it takes you to get it done, right? And I have that ability because I have an attention disorder, and I'm thankful to God every day, because we all want to help somebody, but we want to choose what we have to offer instead of just figuring out what's in our hand and what do we do with it. Whatever your situation is, whatever you have to fight, whatever that mountain is that you have to climb in order to get something done, the other side is worthwhile. And I didn't want to make the video very long, but I did want to share something with you. So I received a letter from Vicky Carter, and she is a loom knitter like me with an attention disorder. And she has been having some hardship starting her knitting process. And like Vicky, I have gotten communication from so many of you who have had a difficult time and found that knitting was so helpful. You know, folks with issues with alcoholism and drug addiction, and you know, from illnesses in the mind to illnesses in your hands and your body, and illnesses in our soul. And you contacted me and said, I need some help. I need you to help me through this process. And I'm so grateful for those folks that not only reached out and asked for help, but were so kind to come back and give me an update. And listen, I can't always answer everybody, and I am so sorry about that. I so wish I could answer everyone. Sometimes I don't even see the questions. It's not that I see it and I ignore it, it's that sometimes they don't come to me. And yet there's folks that, even though I've either taken very long to answer them or I haven't answered them, they come back and they give me an update of their situation, of where they're at. And Vicky was one of those people, and I'm so grateful to Vicky because she understands that, you know, there's a lot going on in my life and sometimes I can't get back. But yet, and still, she came back and she did send me a message. And I wanted to read this to you guys. Like I said, I didn't want to make this video long, but I think this is important. She writes me back and she says, Denise, I just wanted to let you know that I've made my first baby hat. I just finished tonight. I have finally made that curve to finish a project for the very first time in 15 years. It truly is a blessing to be able to finish a project and not give up on yourself because it's too hard or complicated. The difference this time, to my way of thinking, is that I really want to make a difference in someone else's life. To do that, you have to sometimes put yourself out there, even though you don't want to, and you just do it. The other reason is I had someone who understands ADD and other issues that come with it. Thank you for hanging in there with me because it's made all the difference in the world to me. And all I can say to Vicky is, Vicky, back at you. Thank you for hanging in there with me, even though sometimes my answers would take forever and ever, because you mean the world to me. And all of you guys do. When you share and you put yourself out there because there's other people that need to hear it. It's not just your knitting that helps others. It's where you're at, where you were, and what are your plans.